Hello everyone, today I'm going to present aesthetics and architectural style, Beaux-Arts architecture. So what is aesthetics? Aesthetics is an array of philosophy concerned with art and beauty. About the Beaux-Arts architecture, the origin, French Baroque architecture combined the scale and the drama of Italian Baroque with Greek and Roman theories of harmony to create monumental buildings that demonstrated power and majesty. Uniting design and decoration to create a complete whole concept informed the development of Beaux-Arts architecture. So what is the meaning of Beaux-Arts? It basically means creative art, especially visual art, whose products are to be appreciated primarily or solely for their imaginative, aesthetic, or intellectual content. Called the Beaux-Arts, it is the cradle of Beaux-Arts style in architecture and city planning. The school teaches in fine arts such as drawing, painting, sculpture, and architecture as well. History of the Beaux-Arts architecture. The Beaux-Arts style evolved from the French Classicism, also from French Neoclassicism. Architectural characteristics, concept and theme. The Beaux-Arts style emphasized architecture parlante, meaning speaking architecture, the concept that the building should engage in a dialogue with the viewer, thereby explaining its own function. At the same time, Beaux-Arts architecture also considered the building within its wider context, representing and communicating current social values. Beaux-Arts architecture is characteristically symmetrical, grandiose, elaborate, and reminiscent of its formal roots. Its elements are nearly always opulent. Characteristic elements such as Roman and Greek elements such as columns, cornices, and triangular pediments, formal symmetry, decorative Italian and French Renaissance elements, materials such as stone, marble, limestone, or brick, elevated first story, statues, figures, art windows and doors, decorative plasterwork and interior design, columns that Beaux-Arts architecture emphasized at the time, formal symmetry that we can see on the building's facade, elevated first story. Statues also very common in Beaux-Arts architecture, art windows and doors, grand interior halls and staircases, decorative plasterwork, elaborate interior design. So what is aesthetic? Aesthetic concerned with beauty or the appreciation of beauty. On the other hand, aesthetics is a branch of philosophy that concerned with art, beauty, and pleasure. The fine art school established in Paris in the 19th century had a rich, heavy, luxurious, and ornamented language. As it is in the name of the architectural style, this movement was established as a reflection of fine arts. Buildings created with this architectural style were depicted in the most ornate form of art. Ornaments, sculptures, and pictures were conveyed with a beautiful architectural language. Architecture parlante, meaning speaking architecture, actually explains that the Beaux-Arts architecture is a symbolic aesthetic. We can see that symbolic motifs, mythological references, decorations designed in accordance with the design purpose of the building, sculptures, the words of the artist embroidered on the building designs, and their names symbolically convey the aesthetics together with the style. Rhythm. The Beaux-Arts architectural style has a still rhythm symmetrically. When we examine the building's design with this style, we see that symmetry is very visible. There is no asymmetric element addition to the symmetry. Rhythm was actually present in the colors, decoration, heavily decorated designs, and the building's facades. Color. Apart from the building's design with the Beaux-Arts architectural style, the color diversity could not be seen much, but the interior of these buildings offered a complete visual feast. The most striking color used in buildings in this architectural style was the golden. Gold sculptures and decorations gave the style a heavy and ornate look. Scale Beaux-Arts architecture offered magnificent and massive structures. Massive stairs, columns, arcs accompanied these structures. At the same time, these structures contained large and magnificent compositions, a hierarchy from noble areas, huge staircases to functional areas. Famous Beaux-Arts architecture in Paris. Palais Garnier by Charles Garnier. It was probably the most famous opera house in the world, a symbol of Paris, unquestionably a masterpiece of the first rank. So why the project is beautiful? This building reflects beauty aesthetically because it presents symbolism, the values of the time, the truth with elements of Beaux Arts architecture, the decorations it contains, the colors and proportions of the forms, and an ornate expression that appeals to the eye. Decorative columns, magnificent stairs, sculptures and decorations, paintings that make you feel like you're walking through the pages of history, gold ornaments showing a heavy ornate expression that Beaux Arts architecture have as elements, are reflected in the best way that looks beautiful in terms of formal and symbolic aesthetics. Musée d'Orsay, so why that project is beautiful, is another Beaux Arts architecture project that presents the values, meaning and importance of history in a symbolic and formal way. This building offers a symmetrical, decorative, detailed facade by designing sculptures of important people in history. So this area, which has been transformed into a huge art gallery, offers an aesthetically spacious and rich environment with decorations together with the large glasses that provide daylight and the proportional element that we consider as formal aesthetics. The gigantic gold clock reflects the richness of Beaux Arts architecture with its detail, ornate, and gold color. It is not surprising that this magnificent building, which is the product of Beaux Arts architecture, which examines the art deeply and reflects this in its buildings, is used as an art gallery. When we consider it aesthetically, I think this is one of the most beautiful approaches. Palais, Pont Alexandre. The bridge is widely regarded as the most ornate, extravagant bridge. So why that project is beautiful? This design, which is seen as the most ornate and exaggerated bridge of the city, actually owes weight as seen in its way and presents it in an aesthetic way to its golden and bronze-plated sculptures and fine detailed ornaments. This is exactly the purpose of Beaux Arts architecture. It offers the harmony of architecture elements in richness and harmony with the art values of history. And I call it Beaux-Arts. The source of Beaux-Arts architecture is this school, which was established with the aim of fine art education. Unlike the Beaux-Arts architecture products that describe other heavy and ornate architectural presentations, it actually reveals a simpler and less ostentatious expression. The Grand Palais, a monument historic by the French Ministry. Why the project is beautiful. This building, which is one of the biggest and most magnificent projects created by Beaux architecture, offers the richest architectural expressions in exterior and interior spaces. It presents proportion, symmetry, harmony, spatial relationship, color, shape, symmetry, and rhythm as the formal aesthetics of Beaux Arts architecture. The enormous size of doors, passages, and windows is an element offered by Beaux Arts architecture. This makes the building more magnificent and shows elements of formal aesthetics. Sculptures designed in the interior and exterior of the building offer symbolic aesthetic richness, as in the design that reveals the characteristic of every Beaux Arts architecture. So the interiors are like a continuation of the trees surrounding the building with architecture elements. Nature is designed in harmony with the elements in the interior. There are fine detailed decorations on the floor, walls, and columns, and the color is usually green to remind of surrounding nature. Therefore, we can consider the use of elements that bring nature into the interior as the symbolic and meaningful aesthetics of Beaux Arts architecture. Because the trees and the green color are used for a meaningful function. Grand Central Terminal in USA. Located in the United States of America, this building is designed to be just like the Beaux Arts architecture built in France. All formal and symbolic aesthetics elements are present and in harmony, surrounded by modern skyscrapers and buildings. This building cannot be unobtrusive. The symbolic sculptures on the top, symmetrical and proportional arc windows, rows of fine decorative columns, and the harmony of these elements bring out an aesthetic value. Charles Garnier and Palais Garnier. Daniel Burnham and Flatiron Building, New York. So combining the understanding of the Renaissance movement with the French Beaux-Arts style, Burnham has created a very original office building. Flatiron Building is a design with Beaux-Arts architectural features. These features are decorated in detail, decorated with sculptures, dating back to art and history, symmetrical facade, columns, arc windows, ornate, and heavy appearance. The Flatiron Building is aesthetically beautiful as it provides formal and symbolic aesthetics, blends and presents its features, and offers symbolic design on the facade of art influenced by Beaux-Arts architecture. Henry Hobson Richardson and Trinity Church, and Henry Labrosse and Bibliothèque Sainte-Geneviève. Thank you.